Beware, I live.
Welcome to the new River City Gamers Podcast, hosted by SCXCR and Well Unreal 007, as well as many other members from the River City Gamers website. Stay tuned for all the gaming news, new pickups, and everything else we feel like talking about on the River City Gamers Podcast.
Welcome. I'm SCXCR. Real?
Yes.
I'm not. Man.
You mother!
That's a great Zero Master impression.
Onirokaku.
This sounds like that fucking one Star Wars Let's Play where it just ends immediately.
Oh, the one that's like 10 seconds long or something?
It was only like 5 seconds long and they just spent the whole video making fun of how abruptly it ended.
Well, it started abruptly too.
What is it?
What is what?
What started abruptly?
Gaming news.
Gaming news! So real.
Bam. Segue.
Bam, we're not good at segues. Most of the time.
This is more so just recapping something that we talked about earlier, but Monster World has shipped now 6 million units.
What is Monster World?
It is a world where you are a monster. There's an expansion to it called Monster Hunter World, where you then hunt said monsters. Long story short, it's the fastest selling Capcom game of all time.
Damn.
That is actually crazy to me, because I wouldn't think that this game would be, you know?
Yeah, but when you consider what else they have in their library, like Resident Evil, Street Fighter, Mega Man.
Like I said, considering how many copies I saw that first day when I was picking up that and Dragon Ball Fighters.
I know Monster Hunter has been like popular, but not like to that extent.
It's been popular in Japan.
Yeah.
This one, I think, really blew up because of its simultaneous worldwide release, the fact that it's not on a handheld, and it just seemed to get a lot more positive buzz than usual.
And there was a whole lot more publicity behind it too.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, usually, like, when I'm trying to sleep, I put on, like, some pre-recorded YouTube stream, and I almost always get ads for Monster Hunter World, almost every time during the video. So yeah, they went all in on Monster Hunter World. It's pretty clear.
Well, I am going to move from that to something I was not expecting to find in the news, but apparently, hopefully at some point in the next year, there's going to be I'm sort of using quotes on this, game for Space Channel 5. I'm going to temper your expectations a little bit, because this is a VR game, which is based on a tech demo from 2016.
Oh, that does not sound like a good sign.
It never is.
Yeah, basically, you're following Ulala around and mimicking her moves in order to take out the aliens. It's called Arakata Dancing Show.
It doesn't sound terrible, but I don't know. Like, it's already got a limited, like, accessibility. If it's, like, say, VR exclusive, there's already just, like, a low install base overall for that.
So far, it's not just a VR exclusive, it's HTC Vive, particularly.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, jeez.
Isn't the Vive the one that needs, like, a ridiculous amount of space to set up?
I believe so, because my brother has a Vive, and one of my friends has the Vive, and that's the only VR thing outside of the PlayStation VR, which I played at, like, Youmacon once. It's the only VR thing I've experienced. That being said, the Vive is, in general, pretty good. But it's expensive, like most VR, and it does need a bunch of space.
Yeah, there's a VR setup at this local computer parts store, and it takes up a lot of space.
Jesus.
Wait, isn't that the same computer store you went and played Cuphead?
Yes, it is.
I never went to this store, right? When I visited you?
No, you didn't.
Alright, maybe next time.
Yeah, they have everything. That's where I got all the parts that I used for my new PC. More on that later. That is not gaming news. Anyway, here's more gaming news. You know, out of all the games you can make a movie on, the Rampage games would not be first on my list. But that has not stopped Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Dare I ask?
Well, they released a second trailer for Rampage, a movie based on, big air quotes, based on the video games.
Can I go into a little tangent real quick? I'm not going to be loud. Considering I loved Rampage World Tour and Rampage 2 Universal Tour, I'm kind of really a lot of mad at this.
I'm a little surprised they're doing Rampage considering how old that franchise is.
I don't understand why. Why?
Well, Nightman, I'd like to remind you, someone bought the rights to make a Tetris movie at one point.
I don't even know how that would even work either.
And we haven't seen anything on that since.
They just wanted the rights, just for the hell of it.
Yeah, so no one can actually do it. I bet they bought the rights to it, so it's like, now you can't do it.
Or they're waiting for someone else to try and do it, so they're like, you gotta pay me if you want to do it.
I'm not gonna go see it. That's just dumb.
Oh, yeah, because you don't want to support that. Because otherwise they'll make a sequel.
I mean, I know what the plot of the games are, and I love that. What's the plot of this movie?
The plot of the movie is Dwayne... I'm just calling him Dwayne, because...
Dwayne!
He befriends a gorilla in the wild who he names George.
Oh God, no.
Let him go. Let him finish.
Go ahead.
And then, some bullshit happens where some scientific doohickey thing ends up in the wild and it sprays George with something. And whatever it is, it causes him to grow to the size of a building. So now the authorities are trying to capture/kill George, and Dwayne actually does have a couple shots in the movie where someone's aiming a gun at George and he throws up his arms and goes, "No!" And while that's happening, they apparently did this to other animals. So there's a wolf that can fly, apparently, and there's also some kind of lizard thing. So what ends up happening is Dwayne and George fight the wolf and the lizard in the middle of a city.
So it sounds like a Godzilla movie, but the main focus is on an ape.
Sort of, except humanity ultimately did this to itself.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm...
Also, unlike the games, the monsters are not actually people.
That's
Yeah, and there isn't a scene where Godzilla is just like vertically flying feet towards the monster.
And they also don't go to the moon, I'm presuming.
Why did they have to do
And
this?
Spider-Man also doesn't like try to like. He just fucking gets flung against the mountain. That's still one of the best things ever. A fucking Toku series of Spider-Man. I'm glad that exists just for the fact that Spider-Man got his like web thing like grabbed by the giant thing and got flung against a mountain and had boulders fall on him. And you can just tell it's just an action figure that slams against it, but I love it. It's so great.
And they don't cut away soon enough, so you see the action figure bounce.
You see it bounce, you see the boulders fall, then the next shot there's no boulders.
It's crazy to think Spider-Man essentially invented the Megazord too.
Yep.
I don't know when the release date for that movie is. I kind of don't care when the release date for that movie is. But I'm gonna move on from a movie that's not out yet to a game that's not out yet. And it hasn't been out for a very long time. Shaq Fu Legend Reborn. Remember that?
Oh, you mean a game no one asked for?
What are you talking about? Shaq asked for it. He totally want to get another one.
Oh God!
Shaq won't do it right this time.
Shaq wanted to have Shaq Fu. So there's still no concrete date, right? They're just saying this year.
There's no concrete date. Apparently, there's stuff flying around about it coming out sometime in the spring, but there has not been a concrete date announced. The most recent update, which came out a few days ago as of this recording, says, hold on, I'm pulling it up. It details a bunch of the development problems that they had, major plot changes that they made. Oh, okay. You can expect a new trailer and a release date any day now.
Any day. Okay.
Wow.
That's news. How is it looking, though? I mean, like, did you watch it? Because I haven't seen any footage since it got revealed at that One Game Awards.
Well, not too long ago, a trailer for Shaq Fu Legend Reborn went up on the PlayStation YouTube channel. So apparently it's getting close. There's also one for the Switch. But the main thing that has pissed so many people off about Shaq Fu Legend Reborn is they have done such a terrible job keeping all the backers informed. Like,
All right, it's a Kickstarter.
the update I just mentioned was from February 15th, 2018. When do you think the second most recent update happened?
Sometime within the last week.
December 19th, 2016.
Holy shit.
Over a year. I mean, I'm hoping it's good. From what little I can glean from the trailer, it's just looking like over-the-top, goofy, beat-em-up kind of fun.
Shaq Fu Neon should have been the title.
You know what? Sure. In fact, if you rearrange the letters of A Legend Reborn, you can get Neon in there somewhere.
As long as it sells, baby, Shaq don't care. Shaq wants more Shaq Fu.
You can't co-op with Charles Barkley. What are you even about?
It'll still be a better video game than that bitch Kobe could ever make.
You fucking beat the game and you just end it at the Hall of Game Awards that he hosted all those fucking years ago.
Yeah, that was 2015, by the way.
Wow!
What was 2015?
When he came out on stage and said, "We got Shaq Fu Legend Reborn
Oh, yeah.
for you, it's gonna be great."
By the way, you all got a copy of Shaq Fu under your seats? No, just kidding, we didn't have that much.
And it very clearly was not finished at all.
We just announced it? Alright, bye.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
he just fucked off stage.
Don't worry, the Game Award goes to Shaq.
For best announcement of Shaq Fu.
Oh, he better show up for best voice performance in the next year's Game Awards. I want to hear that acceptance speech.
No, I don't know why no one voted for me, but what are you gonna do?
Anyway. On an even lighter note, Dynasty Warriors 9 is running like shit.
Well, something to avoid, thank you.
Dynasty Warriors is pretty meh anyway.
Considering I played it when it had Dynasty Warriors Gundam on it,
Well, the Dynasty Warriors formula has always kind of been the same, but there's usually some effort put into making the game, functional. That did not happen.
And isn't this the one where they actually, made, in general, a big change? And of course, when that happens, everything just fucking breaks.
They went to open world and then forgot to put things in the open world.
That and there's a video that I'm pretty sure we saw where just all the graphics are just fucking up. Things are stretching everywhere. It's performing terribly. It's not good.
Yeah, I'm on the PC version of this. The console version has a tons of problems too. Right now on Steam, overwhelmingly negative. 13% of the reviews are positive. So of course that means Famitsu gave this like a 37 out of 40.
Okay,
Dude,
so
Famitsu gave the Secret of Mana remake at 30 out of 40. I think something happened.
I was about to ask this. Can you at least fight enemies in it, or is it that bad too?
You could fight enemies, but it won't look good and it'll probably perform even worse.
Oh, goody.
Or like,
I almost said, yes, but the enemies won't fight back. But that's a Dynasty Warriors game anyway. So.
That's Muso in general.
Oh, yeah, true.
But usually those enemies will at least face you and acknowledge your presence. That sometimes doesn't even happen here.
Jeez.
Well, you can literally sneak up behind them and stab them. Good to
Keep
know.
in mind, it takes like 20 slashes to kill them sometimes. It's like, we'll just combo them in the air. Okay, now they're dead. Move on to the next 500. 1 million troops.
Wow.
Sounds like
Wow.
sounds like going with the open world was a bad idea.
By the way, I looked up the score. I'm actually wrong on that. Famitsu gave it a 35 out of 40.
Still better than the Secret of Mana remake, according to Famitsu.
You know what? I'm gonna look up something real quick. Hold on. Escape from Bug Island Famitsu. Okay, I found it. 28 out of 40.
Wow.
Congratulations, Secret of Mana Remake. You are rated better than Escape from Bug Island. For whatever that's worth.
All I know is it probably doesn't deserve the 30.
I'll get into that later.
Yeah, exactly.
And one last note, because we can't end on a positive note here. U.S. senators are starting to call for the ESRB and the Federal Trade Commission to review loot box practices. Did I say loot box? Loot box.
The Xbox kind of
The
spoiled
loot box
everything.
with the Glock clock, that's EA. Oh my god, anyway. They're starting to write to the ESRB and the FTC saying, what the fuck is going on with your loot box situation? And in fact, it's not just them. People in the UK are talking about it. One guy from Belgium said that if he had his way, he would just ban loot boxes outright.
Didn't Hawaii also kind of go over loot boxes in the past?
Hawaii State Representative Chris Lee has actually introduced 4 bills about prohibiting the use of loot boxes in the state. And one of those is to halt the sale of games featuring loot crates for real-world cash to anyone under the age of 21.
Damn.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't done loot boxes in terms of real world cash, and I don't want to either. And I already know let's gonna be honest. Why even have loot boxes in the first place?
To make money?
Because
Shilling.
developers are greedy.
Shilling.
Are gaming companies that desperate?
You know, it's not often that I quote Jim Sterling, but I'm gonna quote him this one time, because he actually hit the nail on the head with this. Video game companies don't just want a lot of the money, they want all of the money. Because there are some people who have spent like thousands of dollars on loot boxes and stuff related to it.
And naturally, sometimes they just get nothing.
Yeah, and there are also cases of like minors using their parents' credit card or something to spend hundreds of dollars on shit like this.
Yeah, it's obviously like more common now, but that's not a mutually exclusive case. Sometimes that can happen with just online purchases in general.
That's true. However, when you're buying something with an online purchase, and I'm assuming you're not talking about loot boxes, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with loot boxes, you're getting something that you'll have for a little while, and then when the servers are done for, and they turn everything off, then you realize, oh wait, I wasted my money.
Well, it's something you'll have, but you won't know what you're going to have.
Yeah, you could get something that's ultimately useless for all you know.
That too. I just don't understand the appeal. Maybe I'm 30 years old and I sound like an old man.
Well, you're not wrong.
Let me try to explain it this way, and I'm going to use a weird metaphor. How many rappers have you seen lately?
0.
Okay, how many NFL players have you seen recently?
0.
I'm not talking in real life, just like photos of or something.
Oh shit. You put me on the spot. Too many on the NFL ones, photo-wise. Not enough rappers, I don't think.
Okay, well, how often do you see them wearing expensive-looking jewelry? Like necklaces, rings, earrings?
Too many. I could...
It's sort of along those lines. Like, there are some things you can get out of loot boxes that have a certain prestige about them that people attach an insane amount of value to. Like, incredibly rare Overwatch skins, or something like that. That people are willing to shell out on all these loot boxes in order to get.
Almost sounds like the mystery minis from Funko. Oh, I get it now. Fuck. I just got it.
It makes sense. Now that it's in the terms of Funko, you understand.
It's in terms of anything, really. It's just you have to apply it to something else. And you have to legit sit there and think about it for like a couple of seconds and just see what happens.
Well, thanks EA for getting caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Personally, I don't think that the ESRB is actually going to do anything. I just think one day that government officials are going to show up on their doorstep and ESRB will be like, "Oh, I didn't get your phone call. What's that? You sent a letter? It must have been to the wrong address. I didn't get anything." Right, well, I believe that does it for gaming news. So let's go ahead into Now Playing. So guys, what have you been playing lately? Who wants to go first? Okay, let me ask this first. Has anyone played something that isn't Monster Hunter World?
I have.
Good.
Other than Monster Hunter World, I've been playing Danganronpa V3. If you know the whole series, you know it's like a whole murder mystery kind of game. Some of the new stuff they added was like the class having a debate during the trial. Pretty much just you gotta hard to explain it, I guess, but pretty much like you gotta just have the characters like argue like with a big dispute on who killed who and whatever. And another game I've been playing, another game I've started playing recently was a game called Celeste. In this game, you pretty much just climb a mountain, but there's a lot of platforming and challenge to it.
But why are you climbing the mountain?
Nightman 39 is climbing a mountain. Why is he climbing a mountain?
That's actually a good one. And it's something to do with the plot. Having essentially, she's trying to survive some inner demons on her journey on top of this mountain, and that's essentially what the plot. She's got inner demons, and she has to uncover like secrets, some devious secrets on this weird ass mountain. The gameplay is at least pretty fun. A lot of trial and error, and I guess I'm done here.
Okay, first off, thank you for not spoiling more or any of V3, as I still hadn't got to it yet.
Hey, no problem.
Well, besides Monster Hunter World, I played and beat Danganronpa 1. I played up at least until Chapter 3 of Danganronpa, another episode, Ultra Despair Girls. I like the series so far, especially the first one, because I hadn't really got into 2 and V3 yet. But some of UDG, it was just the only. I've said this many times to you guys. I know I hadn't said this on the podcast. The only thing I don't like is the camera. It just. There's been so many times where I have to turn around so fast, I literally get dizzy. And I have to pause the game, get up for a minute, and go to another room just to stop being dizzy. Or at least not try and throw up. And that rarely happens to me when it comes to video games like that, so...
My issue, other than with the camera in that game, would have to be how annoying Komaru could be.
Oh yeah, her. Ugh.
Okay, for those of us who don't play Danganronpa, who is Komaru?
She's the sister of the main character from the first game, and she got the lead role in the spin-off.
Yeah. And there are times I just want to switch to the other character, so that way I wanted to play as Komaru.
Funny thing is, I didn't like Toko either.
Weird. I think I like Toko, to be honest with you. So,
To each his own.
but yeah, and I need to get back on Monster Hunter World as well. But there's another game that I need to get into soon, Shadow of the Colossus, and maybe I should explain. I made a New Year's resolution that I'm somehow sticking to, is to play video games that I passed when they were initially released, or try something new, like Okami. When it was on PS2 and Wii, I passed on Okami. I regret that every day. Got it on Xbox One, played it, loved it. And Shadow of the Colossus is one of them. This was released on PS2, never got it, because I never thought it'd be that good to me. And now I got its remake. I'm gonna play it soon if I ever get done playing Danganronpa.
Well, I know there is one person here who's played it.
As I come out from nowhere and mention that I did play Shadow of the Colossus. I played it on stream. One of the rare streams where I had no Discord call at all. And I think that worked in its favor. It was also pretty funny because I got to have chat do some funny stuff with the game. Oh man. That Shadow of the Colossus, I actually own on PS2, but I picked it up because I got a PS2 in like 2011. I played the first 4 bosses and then never touched it again. It was just one of those games where I'm like, I'll revisit it later, I'll play something else, and I never did. So this time I came back with the remake, and this time played it all the way through, again, on stream. And despite knowing how the game ended and all that stuff for the longest time, so that impact was completely wasted on me, I'm glad I finished this game. It's really nice. It looks phenomenal, especially like once I looked back at some of the screens of the old game, which are actually included in the extras in this. You have to unlock them, but there's some comparison shots, and yeah, Blue Point did their fucking work on this remake. It's really incredible, and I'm really glad I finished Shadow of the Colossus. I may go back and do all the other stuff, like all the time attacks, but Monster Hunter keeps taking my time, so that's gonna be hard to go back, but I'm glad I finished it. And that was definitely a fun stream, and I could say it's an infuriating stream for some people, where I spent maybe 30 minutes trying to figure out how to fucking fight a Colossi. Especially if you know the game, you're gonna look at that and go, oh my god. It's stupidity from me, big time. And it wasn't the game's fault.
Well, I think we all have those moments once in a while.
Yeah, just warning, 30 minutes of self-loathing about my stupidity on the second to last Colossi. Also, Kappa in chat every time I fall off a Colossi. We counted like 30 total, and my limit was 50 by the end of the game.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, when I finally start playing it, how much do you think I'm gonna get mad at it?
Have you never played the game before?
Never.
Oh, swimming in 7s, maybe.
Oh god.
Maybe. Keep in mind, there's 2 control schemes. I played the modern control scheme, which is different from what the original was. You pick either or, but it's less about the control layout, and it's more about the game feel. Like, whether you're going to be a fan or not of having to hang on and flailing around because you are a tiny ant on a big boy.
Oh god.
Just keep in mind, every Colossi is pretty much a puzzle. Like, how am I going to get to the weak points?
Any Colossi I face, I'm going to be like Carter Grayson from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue.
No.
No, you don't have guns.
Good point.
You have a bow and arrow, but that is not for killing.
What is it for?
It
Annoy him?
Well, it could be used to get their attention, which is important, and it can actually be used to proceed in certain fights. I actually had to use one in a fight. Like, there's a couple of fights where you have to use it.
Good to know.
But your finishing blows will always be getting on them and stabbing them with your sword.
God, it almost sounds like Monster Hunter, but...
No, it doesn't. It's nothing
No.
like Monster Hunter.
Ooh.
Okay.
Not at all.
I'm just gonna have to dig in and see for myself then.
It's weird to call it this. It's a puzzle-based boss fight sim. Like, they're all boss fights, but they're all puzzles to fight.
And you have to figure out how to beat them.
Pretty much.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
When in doubt, watch my stream. That's not
I am.
chill, but
What stream is that?
twitch.tv/WellUnreal007, but also streaming on YouTube as youtube.com/WellUnreal007. I stream simultaneously through Restream. Please watch on Twitch instead. There's a lot more going on there. Other than that, that was like, outside of Monster Hunter, the only game I fully played. I played at least 5 minutes of the Secret of Mana remake, so I don't have much input outside of what little songs I've heard, what little voice acting I've heard, and what little gameplay I played.
Well, you know who has played more of the Secret of Mana remake?
Come back in a month and it'll be me. No, it's you.
That's me.
Hi, Flammy.
You're my favorite Mana Knight.
Oh, hey, Randy. I didn't know it was you. Here you go. That's me.
I'm gonna try and not go Festivus airing of grievances on this. So I actually have a big document in front of me with one column that says good and one column that says bad. I'm gonna go through these and try to make sure I don't miss anything. I'll start with the good. Some good things that happened in the remake. One which hit me right away is that some of the remixes for the songs are really fucking good. The title theme in particular. And there are also like some others in the middle of it, like the Dwarf Village theme I actually like a little more than the original. And even if you don't like it, there's an option in-game that you can change to the original soundtrack at any time. For the UI, one thing I didn't like about the original is when you get to spellcasting, your gauge just shows your health. They added a magic points gauge, so you're not constantly having to go into the menu if you want to know what your magic points are. Obviously, you can run in several directions. They changed running to basically be like it is in Secret of Evermore.
Yeah, that is one thing I did notice, and I'm like, wait, am I able to just spam the run button and just have it like beep every time when it fills up? Because that wasn't like that when I played the original.
Yeah, you can run pretty much anywhere, changing direction at any time, and it just depletes really slowly your gauge. They fixed the magic rope so it works in more places. When you're standing behind an object on the main screen, there's a white outline around you so you don't end up losing track of characters. You won't get held up if the AI gets stuck on something. You can just keep running and they'll be off screen.
Oh man, that sounds great. Oh,
It's great until you need their help elsewhere on the map. I'll just put it that way.
whoops.
Oops. The equipment in this game. Before, it would just show like what it would do for your defense, physical defense. In this game, they added more stats to it. It shows your evade rate, it shows your magic defense, and it shows any status resistances you would get from equipping that item. They changed some of the dialogue and edited it to make a little bit more sense, and elaborate on some things that he just had to heavily summarize in the original. I'm listing this as a positive because I'm going to get to it more in the bad column. You can turn off the voiceovers at any time, so you know what's going to come in a few minutes. Another thing is, it's much easier to tell, like, if you stop playing for a bit and then come back to it and don't know what to do. They added a game log, which chronicles everything you've done and everything you're supposed to do, as like a journal for what's happened in the game. So that's a definite plus. One thing that was kind of weird about the original is you couldn't target allies that were off screen, or if enemies were near the edge of the screen, you couldn't target them with magic. That is fixed in this. They also fixed a bunch of smaller glitches from like incomplete elements. The whole branching thing with acquiring Prim, where you go to her house and she just disappears and her dad says go, 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 go over and over, that's fixed. That's an actual, like, somewhat complete storyline to getting her in your party now. More on glitches later, by the way. The biggest positive for this game is that they added extra conversations that happen among the characters anytime you stay at an inn. Well, up to a certain amount. You can't just stay at the inn over and over and get something new each time. But there are so many of these, and it does a lot to add to the character and the personality of each of these characters. Just one example is, I think this was after they fought Witch Eleni? Elena? They pronounce it, I think Elena in the game, but I keep saying Eleni. Anyway, the sprite has this conversation about, you know, Elene's a magic user and that made her really mean. So what happens if a person who's mean from the start gets a hold of magic? And then they both just look at Prim? There's shit like that that happens throughout these conversations, and it's really enjoyable to watch. Now for the bad. There are a bunch of little glitches that happen throughout this game. Like, if you open a trapped chest, the weapon you have will disappear from the screen for a few seconds. Another thing about the weapons, this isn't a glitch, it's by design, but the reach on them is massive compared to what you could do in the other game. Like, there's one part where you're going through the haunted forest and there are these Choban hoods that are shooting arrows at you. You couldn't reach them with the sword before. You can hit them in this game, even if they're standing as far as possible away from you. The visual cue for the recharge is gone. Like, your character sprite would flash in the other one whenever you were near 100%. That's gone in this one, so you just have to listen for the thing or stare at the bottom of the screen looking for when you hit 100%.
Also, doesn't the charge thing, it doesn't like constantly like make the noise anymore? Yeah, because even if you were I think in the original, if it charged all the way and you were still holding it, it would still make that noise.
No, it wouldn't. It would just go and then no other sound would play.
Okay, because I heard that in the remake, that's not a problem either.
In the remake, instead of playing 3 times for each charge level, it just plays twice. So it's still there. It's just not as apparent. That's actually a different issue I have, is sometimes the audio leveling isn't quite as good, so that can get drowned out depending on what's happening.
Yeah, I noticed that, and like, all the audio levels when I played were just evened out. Sometimes the music is louder than the dialogue. And I'm getting Xenoblade Chronicles X flashbacks where the music would just be like blaringly louder than the fucking dialogue. And in that game, you couldn't change it.
This isn't necessarily bad, it's just something that I noticed, is that some character names were changed and some weapon names were changed. Like, instead of the broadsword, you get the rapier. Instead of Fana being Prim's friend, it's Pamela. I'm only about a third through the game right now, so I'm sure there are other examples, it's just I'm not there yet. The enemies in this game, in general, they tend to look way less expressive and or kind of sinister like enemies did in the original. The green drops in particular are where I come from with this. Because in the original, they had this like big-ass, kind of sly-looking grin on them. In this game, they just have like the Dragon Quest slime smiley face on them. It's like, I'm not sure that was the way to go. The werewolf is another example too. Like, I remember in the original, when you saw the werewolf and it was casting magic, it would have this animation where it would be like all foppish and slick its hair back and then cast the magic. Here, not so much, it just casts the magic. And speaking of the werewolf, they were a major pain in the ass to deal with in the original Secret of Mana. Here, not so much. It seems like all the enemies are much more passive than they were in the original game. And another thing working in the player's favor is that the hit stun period, like when you hit an enemy, it stops moving, and then it starts moving again, it's much longer than in the original. Also, regardless of the enemy, you can keep hitting them while they're down, regardless of what position they're in. Whereas in the original, if you didn't do enough damage, they could start attacking again. There are some exceptions to this, like the zombie in particular is one that I noticed where it can start attacking again sooner. But for the most part, I have not seen that for things like the eye thing that casts Moogle on you. I haven't seen it for the Chosen Hoods, or most of the other enemies where that would be the case. The action grid, which I used to use a lot to like keep people away from shit that would have killed them, it's been oversimplified in this game. You have 4 options. Allies attack the same target, allies don't attack the same target, or whether they assist one of the other 2 characters. So there's no general option for stay the hell away.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even get any party members when I played yet. But I did take a look at the action grid and notice like that's not a grid, that's a list.
Yeah.
Like at a glance, like when I played the original, I was a bit confused by it, but then after like a minute, I'm like, okay, I get what they're going for. It's like one of those. It's like one of those charts in school. That's like the weirdest example I'm saying right now, but because I learned charts in school, I knew how to read that after a minute. And that is important because like I did want to like keep certain characters at a distance, say if they had a long range weapon, because you don't want to be like in my one D&D group, be point blank and pull the bow and arrow and shoot. Still worked, but you want to have distance on that.
From what I've experienced so far, when I've had them with ranged weapons, they do stay like at least arm's length away.
Okay, so I guess maybe they may have implemented distance based on weapon choice now instead of... I don't know, I'm just like spitballing here with that.
Well, there's another thing that they fixed, which is actually kind of unfortunate because it worked in the player's favor, but chain casting doesn't work anymore.
Okay, I'm selling the game. I'm sorry. I can't beat the game without that. Oh.
Actually, well, you may because of other things that are in the bad column. The menus are more confusing because instead of like focusing on the character that you're in the menu for, all of them are just centered on screen. So I find myself having to like go through to the weapons and see which character it focuses on to just to tell whose menu I'm in.
I didn't notice that. That's not great. Like I knew, like you still have the 2 menus for the separate ones mapped to the different buttons, but if it's not centered on the character, that's going to be a little confusing. Does it say the character's name anywhere noticeable?
If it does, I haven't noticed it.
Or is it just like hidden in a corner where it's like not your center focus?
If it does, I haven't noticed it. Another thing is, so for the 3D remake, they did, obviously, character modeling for this, and they added a bunch of animations for them. But it seems like they didn't animate a bunch of things that they should have. Like, there were things that they could have gotten away with doing that for if this were a bunch of sprites, like in the original. But when they do it with 3D models, it just looks incredibly awkward. The nodding animation is one that stands out a lot, because it happens really fast in the sprite animation, but the 3D animation, they have your character spread their legs a little bit, put their hands at their sides, and then very slowly nod, and then return back to neutral position. It does not look good.
Can I mention the shopkeeper dance?
Oh, please do.
I saw that, and I like immediately cracked up and said, oh, this is gonna be good.
You watch, I'm gonna like find an empty table at a convention and just do that.
I'll just go up to you and buy something.
And another thing is, when you have multiple party members, several times the characters will just walk into each other like they did when they were sprites. Except when they were sprites, you could just imagine they were standing behind each other. Not so much in this. They form a chimera of sorts. Another thing is, I kind of have a problem with the way like the UI and the menus look in this game. I don't know how to describe it other than RPG Maker.
I was about to say iPhone port.
That probably... I haven't played the mobile version of Secret of Mana, so I don't know.
No, just like the way it looks, it feels like a Final Fantasy iPhone port in terms of menus. It's like the best way I can describe it.
Plain blue background, plain text, black screens.
Also, here's a nitpick. It doesn't play the that certain music cue when you go load your game. That music track.
No, it does not.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, wait a minute, there should be that music thing when I'm creating. No, why is it? No, it's not there. It's still playing the good song from earlier, but that's not right. So that is a nitpick, though. But hey, it's noticeable if you played the original.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that a lot of people who got this have played the original, which is why you might notice that several of the bosses are really easy. It's a consequence of removing the different levels of hit stun, being able to stack attacks and do more damage, generally being less aggressive. At least from what I played so far, the last boss I faced was Wall Face.
Did the wall move this time?
It moved when I destroyed both of the eyes.
Did you not do that in the original?
No. I just took out the one that was repeatedly curing the other two, and then left the other one open.
So the center?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think way back, that's when I was playing the original, I was telling you, like, no, the wall moves, most likely after those two eyes are gone. And I think that was around the time of the retrospective where you said you weren't sure how the wall would actually move and stuff.
But yeah, anyway, I think the bosses are too easy. The spiky tiger fight with the witch lasted maybe a little over 30 seconds for me, because I was just able to stack damage on top of it repeatedly.
Oh, I do want to add, like, in comparison, like, the very first boss, I had way less trouble than I did on the original. Because I think in the original, there would be times where you could just be unconscious stun-locked.
Yeah, come to think of it, I haven't actually had any of my characters go unconscious yet. So is that even in the game, or is it just something you have to get under very particular circumstances?
What, you mean the status effect where you're just knocked out?
Yeah.
That's in the game, because it happened to me. Only on the first boss, though. But maybe it's just...
Damn, that didn't happen to me on the first boss.
It does happen, because he can still do the, that projectile attack that follows you. And I'm pretty sure that's the one that hits you and you get knocked unconscious.
Yeah, I did get hit by that, and I didn't get knocked unconscious.
Huh, okay. You must have gotten lucky then, but I can assure you it's there, but did not get, like, wombo comboed.
Okay, I might as well address this now. The voices. Oh, jeez.
And they said they would improve them. Or they were work in progress.
Okay, when people were questioning the quality of the voices, maybe they misunderstood and thought we need to increase the bit rate on these. That was not the quality we were talking about. The voices that were in the early showings of it, those are the voices in the game. The opening cutscene... Jesus Christ, Timothy and Elliot. Timothy in particular is really bad.
It sounds like... Wait, is Timothy the one with the hat?
Yes.
It sounds like a fucking valley girl, I guess. The best way to describe it.
Be here?
I'm not supposed to be here. Get the fuck out. Yeah, get out.
You just doomed our village?
Guys, I'm falling! Captain Falcon will always be
God damn it.
out on the trail.
Overall, I can describe the voice acting quality as late 80s anime dub. It's just, no one seems to know what they're supposed to emote. Prim's voice is awful.
Oh, don't spoil that to me. I want to find out on my own.
I hate you, Dad. How dare you get between me and dialogue? I'm leaving.
Wow.
Have you switched to the Japanese voices?
No, I haven't. Actually, can you switch the language after you've already started?
I actually don't know. That is escaping me.
Because I know you can turn the voices down, but I don't know if you can actually switch the language.
Maybe you can. I don't know. Like, maybe it could be like Monster Hunter where you have to change it from the main menu. Maybe. But that's just me guessing. I swear I saw it in the options though. But the option that I'm like, okay, let's just turn it down to 0.
That's probably the ideal way to play this, is just with the voices turned off.
I'm just curious if you're able to listen to it in Japanese. Like, I want to see, like, what considers good. Like, what do you consider good Japanese voice acting? Because it's an entirely different language. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Like, at least for me personally, like, how do I know this is bad Japanese voice acting? I can't tell.
Well, you can still sort of tell, even if you're not a native speaker of the language. Emotion. I mean, it helps, obviously, to be more familiar with it, because, like, Resident Evil, for example, they didn't know how bad the English voices were, because none of them really spoke English or knew anything about the language. Which makes me wonder, could something like that have played a role in this?
After all these years, and this is still a problem, like...
But, to be clear, it's not just the quality of the voiceovers, in terms of acting quality, it's also a bit of the implementation. Anytime you attack something, there is some kind of sound escaping your character. Anytime you get hit by something, there is some kind of sound and a voice quip escaping your character. Anytime you evade a hit, there is something coming from your character. I got stuck in this one sequence one time where Prim was dodging an attack over and over and over, and all I could hear was, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way.
They probably saw Xenoblade and said, we should do that. And then it's like, no, that's not how that works.
Also, I still need to explore the other villages with different races in them. But so far from what I've seen, the shopkeeper sounds the same everywhere.
Sprite's the same, why change the voice?
The voice for the human is like, welcome, what are you buying? And then the voice for the dwarf shopkeeper is, welcome, what are you buying?
Welcome to City 17.
If I get to the mushroom people and the mushroom shopkeeper also goes, welcome, what are you buying?
You know it's gonna happen, like, come on.
It's probably going to happen.
Apparently Little Karibo has a voice in the remake. I'm not sure which character, but he's in it.
Hope he's Neko. Neko actually sounds decent.
I'll go look that up. Keep going.
Okay, so I'm on my last thing I want to talk about this, which is glitchy shit. Now, the original Secret of Mana was pretty glitchy. This Secret of Mana is pretty glitchy. Specifically, there are a bunch of collision errors with the models of all the enemies in relation to the environment. So if you do certain attacks on them, weird shit happens. What I did was I equipped these knuckles. And if you're running into an enemy and attack, you'll do kind of a mix between a suplex and a judo throw on them. I've managed to do this and suplex enemies through heaven and earth. There was one point where I did the throw and the character was in 3 different places at once, before finally deciding to land in an entirely different position. But yeah, I've slammed enemies through the ground, I've slammed them through the ground and had them fall out from the sky. And it's not just that glitch with that particular weapon either. The sound can glitch out. I notice it's happening a lot when I run off screen away from my AI companions, but they'll be like attacking an enemy. I'll run off screen, and then it just turns into a mishmash of cartoon attack sound effects. Like, I don't know what my other characters are doing, but all I'm hearing is
a fight is broken out.
Pretty much.
Oh, here's an update. Little Karibo voices Elmen and various other characters.
Oh, okay. That makes sense now.
Who was Elmen?
I can't remember if Elmen is Prim's father or the father of the person Prim is supposed to marry. One of those two.
But he said various other characters, so... You have to be on the lookout, or maybe look in the credits. If you get there, that is.
Another thing I'll just mention about the enemies is that the Lullabud in particular, in the original game it would like try to blend in with the surroundings and then turn into like the attack monster. Doesn't even try in this game. Super fucking obvious it's going to attack you. But back on the glitches. Sorry, that was a little out of order. I actually posted this to Twitter. I got to the tower in Pandora. The sound glitched out, so it was constantly going. The words "zombie takes a critical hit," which I'm upset that they didn't keep the "gets whacked" message for critical hits. But "zombie takes a critical hit" was spamming non-stop across the top of the screen. I killed like all the enemies except one zombie, and I didn't kill that zombie because I could not attack it. All the attacks would go through it. I tried running into it, I ran through the zombie. I could actually still do the judo throw on it, but I couldn't do any damage to it. So I said, well, what if I use magic on it? So I have the sprite cast Earth Slide on it, and the game crashed. This... how did nobody catch shit like this?
I really don't know.
Now, I know you mentioned, like, review score-wise swimming in 7s earlier. In some regards, I think that may actually be a little too generous for this.
Ooh. I said swimming in 7s because that's like the most scores I've seen in like combined. Like it's right around there.
Yeah, I was avoiding review scores for this until I actually played this, and I still haven't actually looked at any. Yeah, I usually don't advocate for major patches this early in game, but this needs one. This could really use one. I mean, I'm still having fun with it. I'm still going to keep playing it because I want to see like what else is different. I still want to see those character conversations that happen at the ends. But yeah, I don't think this is going to replace the original Secret of Mana for me anytime soon.
Yeah, I'll just say right now, I think in general some people, like the more they've played, they've warmed up to it. But it's obviously like even after that it won't replace the original. So when I give it the full run through again, because like I actually have the original more fresh in my mind because I played it near the end of last year on my SNES Classic. So going through again is going to be something. I just know, like from the outside, this is not going to be better than the original. But the big question is, will I enjoy it? It's very likely, but it's got to do a lot for me to just say, no, I'm not finishing this. No, thank you. Then again, I kind of prefer Evermore over Mana, so I'm probably one of the weird ones.
I'll get to that in the retrospective.
How is Evermore going, if you even started it?
I've barely started it. But anyway, that's it for me, and I think that's it for all of us for now playing.
I believe so.
Yep.
We could have gone on about Monster Hunter again, but that was last podcast, and I don't know. Just we'll do the. Are we still playing Monster Hunter? Yes. Okay. Next game. That'd be our podcast checkup.
Right. Well, I'll just go ahead and plug that we do have viewer Q&A. So if you want to ask us anything to be answered on this podcast, you can ask it in the comments of the YouTube upload, the site upload, or you can ask it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/RiverCityGamers, or on the podcast upload on our newest host,
Shout Engine.
And yes, I checked. You can actually comment there.
Wait, why didn't you say the host this time? I thought we confirmed that we have a host now.
We do have a host. It's called
Shout Engine.
Oh boy.
And they certainly do host podcasts. Anyway, actually, there is one comment here from Jägermeister Tharn, who says, so at some point I have to throw $60 at you? I mentioned on the last podcast that for $60 I would do strumming the bass line on the entire Bloody War 2 soundtrack. So, I guess the answer is yes?
$60 is $60.
Yes, $60. I still don't know why it's $60, but it's $60.
It's enough to get a game, so spend it on Yakuza if you haven't already. It should be lower in price now, but not by much.
I'll keep that in mind as we go into what's new. So, any games that you're looking forward to, any videos that you're working on, what's new with you, Onirokaku?
Oh my god. Okay, games-wise, Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming out. October?
Let's keep it within like the next few months.
Oh, the next few months.
So,
Gaming-wise,
March and April, I guess.
oh shoot, Far Cry 5. That's it, really. I'm looking forward to. What am I working on? I'm actually sitting down after a few months of taking a break, trying to revamp everything because VidMe pretty much screwed me over. Lovely. Having to
screw.me.
Pretty much that. And I'm actually trying to script some B-side episodes now, as well as finally get to work on Rumbleback. In terms of any video game reviews, I'm literally thinking about doing text reviews for a little bit, at least till I get comfortable enough to try and do a video review again on a video game.
Have we figured out if we're able to like make text reviews like viable on the site? Because I'm actually been wondering about that.
We're still working on that. Also, patting myself on the back for resisting the urge to go, Oni, you didn't tell him about the Rumbleback, did you?
Not my...
I did. You did.
You did.
Good job. Anyway, I'm actually trying to still working on a Funko Pop related review, thanks to you a-holes for giving me the character name. Was it Zero that did it? I can't remember.
What? Baloney Rokaku?
No, God, no.
Oh, Terry Funko Pop.
Yeah, that one.
That was not me.
I know, that was Zero. That was Zero. But yeah, I'm gonna try and work on that, and it might tune into another thing I've been into lately. Gundam model
Terry
kits.
Gundo Pops.
Oh God!
I was gonna say the badass Billy Gundo Pop.
Oh, that. Oh, I'm writing that down.
Sorry, Billy Gundam.
There you go. Hey, there you go. Anyway, but yeah, I'm trying to work on that, but mostly want to get to work on the B side again because I've got like, oh good lord, about 2 or 3 of those to do now. One is a viewer requested one that won the Royal Rumble poll, so I have to review WWE Invasion 2001. This is gonna be lovely. Hey kids, you want to see 2 referees fight?
Depends, who's the referee? If
Earl
it's Drake Younger, I would watch that.
The second one is a request that was made years ago, but I'm not going to go into any personal details. So the second one is Starcade 85, The Gathering. And the third one's going to be on Backlash 2018 in the next few months because, God, I've been waiting to tear something like this a new one, considering the fact that me and MJ kind of predicted this years ago about 4-hour pay-per-views. Or...
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No! Nobody!
Wow.
Jesus Christ. That's just dumb. But, streaming wise, I'm trying to get back into it. Can I plug it or?
What stream would that be?
Twitch.tv/Onirokaku. If you're expecting me to be talky on it, it's too bad. I have no microphone for either PS4 or Xbox One.
Do you have a USB mic?
Yes, I do.
Plug it in. You have a mic.
I actually tried it on Xbox One. Did not work.
Well, fuck Xbox. It works on PlayStation.
Oh, well, fuck, I'll do it. But if I do, then how am I going to talk to you guys on Skype while I'm...
Skype?
I don't know. Discord.
You can talk through stream. There's a chat for a reason.
Oh yeah.
And Skype.
Fuck Skype.
I thought we all stopped using that.
Anyway, but yeah. Okay, well, at least on PS4 I can do something because Xbox says fuck you, Twitch. They want you to use their mixer. Fuck's a mixer? I mean, I've got that too, mixer.com/Onirokaku, but I did stream on YouTube, but YouTube stunk when it came to it, and they actually blocked 50% of my Binding of Isaac rebirth. I don't know why they did, but they did. But if I do stream, it may be I'm borrowing this from you, Unreal, and I apologize. I may stream Shadow of the Colossus.
And if I see footage of my stream on your stream, I will take you down.
No, I was gonna do like a split side-by-side comparison of how yours is better, mine just sucks.
I don't authorize that.
Ah, shit.
I only authorize the recordings that have all the dropped frames, which is the entirety of the second and final stream.
I might actually, I don't know yet. I'm just gonna have to think on it. But at least it won't be Slime Rancher. Jesus Christ, never again. But yeah, that's all I'm doing for right now because, like I said, video game reviews are just going to be on to text reviews wherever I can host them at. Hopefully it will be on
Probably just our website.
hopefully soon. I mean, I'd love to host it there so I could just be like, text time, give my thoughts on it. There you go. At least just until I can get used to doing a video game review on video again. Because God knows I need the fucking lighting for that too. Anyway, I'm done. Sorry. Took too long.
No, we're actually running pretty good on time, so...
Oh. Well, let me tell you about a life story about a man in the trees.
Moving on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go next. So, there's really not anything I'm looking forward to video game-wise, except maybe Rad Rogers.
What's Rad Rogers?
It's like a throwback 2D style platformer. If I remember correctly, I think John St. John is in there somewhere.
I'd believe it. I buy that.
But video-wise, I'm actually a little handicapped in terms of what I can do for videos, because I just posted a video about this recently, but I have a new PC, and I basically bought all the parts for this individually instead of getting a pre-build. So it's more geared toward what I'm trying to do nowadays, like video recording, streaming, video editing, stuff like that. And it's running great, but there's a slight problem with it, which is, for some reason, my Elgato recordings with it do not come out well at all. There's repeated frame skip where it keeps duplicating frames from like a couple frames ago, and it does this constantly, and it makes the video unwatchable. Like, I tried staring at it for maybe 20 seconds and I was getting a headache. So until I can get that resolved, I'm not going to be able to record pretty much anything from consoles. The good news, however, is that I did a PC test stream with like Fearless and a PC game recently, and it went really well. I was able to stream at a higher resolution, a better frame rate, and I mean, aside from being Fearless games, it looked pretty good. So I may try to do like just a moment on a PC game to help fill the time in between, but I'm still deciding what exactly I'm going to do for that. And hopefully the Elgato thing gets resolved soon, because otherwise I may just look into getting different hardware. But I believe that does it for me, so Nightman, Unreal, one of you two?
In terms of games, the only thing I could really think of is God of War on PS4. In terms of a video, I'm actually working on my Trails of Cold Steel 2 review. I'm just doing the recording process. I've got all the video footage done, but I've got to do more of my voice parts. And anything else, I'll keep the rest of them under wraps for the time being. And I think I'm pretty much done here.
Okay, I'll see if I'm able to afford it next month, but Ni no Kuni 2.
I was thinking about that too, but I still haven't finished the first one.
Yeah, the first one, just still sitting here. Haven't even put it in the PlayStation.
Then again, I shelled out for Xenoblade 2, so that excuse is out the window.
Yeah, at least I made progress in that, but I'm still very far behind on Xenoblade 2. Not sure how I feel about God of War right now. I don't have an attachment with God of War, so I might play it. Not too sure if I'm gonna really go for it, because that same month, instead of March, Yakuza 6 got delayed to April, and I'm still looking forward to that. So if I'm picking one game in April, it's going to be Yakuza 6, because I'm more invested in that than God of War. That's really it for games. Minus the fact that by next month, I need to go and get those virtual console games before I can't buy the points anymore. Time's running out, so I got to get on that.
Yeah, public service announcement. Pretty soon you're going to be unable to buy points at the Wii Shop channel. So do that before, I think it's mid-March?
I think it was late March.
Mid to late March.
Video-wise, you and me still have to, actually write our collaboration. We don't have to worry about footage still, which is great. It's just writing the script and recording our voices and then compiling it.
I'll have to play the game again, though, so I have a better idea of what to write.
Oh boy, I guess I have to do that too. Spend 5 minutes with it and go, oh right, and then... Although there's some stuff I can at least recall, but, you know. So, maybe every podcast will do the, have we made progress on this review, yes or no segment? And as of right now, no, there has been no progress. It's something we really should do, because Zero is still bothering us about that.
If we don't have it done by Anime North...
It's not going to be done by Anime North.
Yeah, probably not.
One last thing, still trying to stream more often, still no schedule, unfortunately. In fact, I'm, it's not going to matter when this posts up, but, I am going to stream after the podcast, but of course by the time it's posted, this won't matter. I already mentioned my stream credentials earlier in the podcast, so I don't really need to say it again unless that's absolutely necessary.
Good, you only get one per stream.
Good. Well, one per podcast stream.
Right.
That should be it for me. I've got nothing else outside of that.
Okay, well that takes us to the end of the podcast. So, once again, I am SCXCR.
I am Unreal.
I am Oni.
And I'm Nightman.
I have nothing to say here.
We're not swimming in sevens.